You don't pay rent, so you don't get a say, my girlfriend told me. I'd been covering every bill for months while she saved up. When I finally moved out, she begged me to pay one last month. I didn't, and 3 weeks later, the landlord evicted her entire friend group. I'd been paying every single bill for 7 months. Rent, utilities, groceries, internet, her car insurance. Everything. She told me back in March she lost her job and needed help, just for a couple months, while she saved up. I'm a software contractor making decent money, so I said fine. We'd been together almost 2 years. I thought we were solid. Turns out she didn't lose her job. She quit. On purpose. To focus on her mental health and save money. Except she wasn't saving anything because she had no income. She was just spending my money. I found out the truth when her friend Ashley posted Instagram stories from their weekend trip to Miami. My girlfriend was there. In the comments someone wrote, "So glad you're finally relaxing after quitting that toxic job." I sat there staring at my phone in our apartment while she was on a beach I was apparently funding. When she got back, I asked her straight up, "Did you actually lose your job or did you quit?" She barely looked up from unpacking. I needed a break. You wouldn't understand, you love your job. That's when I should have ended it. But I'm an idiot, so I just said she needed to start contributing again or find somewhere else to live. She cried, promised she'd get a job. Said she loved me and couldn't lose me. 2 weeks later I came home to 3 extra people in the living room with suitcases. "Oh babe, this is Ashley, Morgan, and Dev. They're staying here for a while." Ashley's lease ended and Morgan's place had a bedbug situation. I pulled her into the bedroom. "What the hell? You can't just move people in without asking me." That's when she said it. "You don't pay rent, so you don't get a say." I actually laughed. I've paid every bill for 7 months. I pay all the rent. It's under my name. Legally it's my apartment. You're just helping out. I looked at her and something just clicked off in my brain. Fine, then you can pay for your apartment. I called my buddy Marcus that night and asked if his spare room was still available. It was. I started packing immediately. She didn't believe me at first. Kept saying I was being dramatic. Then I loaded my PC setup into my car and she started panicking. "Wait, let's talk about this. I didn't mean it like that." "Yeah, you did. Okay, but you can't just leave me with rent. How am I supposed to pay it?" "Not my problem. You said it yourself. It's your apartment." She followed me out to my car. Ashley and the others were watching from the window. "Can you at least pay for this month? Just this one last month so I have time to figure it out." I put the last box in my trunk. "No. Are you serious right now? After everything we've been through? You mean after everything I've paid for?" "Yeah, I'm serious." I moved out that night. Blocked her number after she sent me about 40 texts ranging from apologetic to furious to threatening to apologetic again. 2 weeks later, Marcus showed me a post in our neighborhood Facebook group. My ex was asking if anyone knew tenant rights because her landlord was illegally harassing her about rent. People were telling her to pay her rent. She argued that she had unexpected financial circumstances and the landlord was being unreasonable. Then 3 weeks after I moved out, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Ashley. "Hey, so, weird question. Did you happen to pay the rent before you left?" "No. Why would I? Because we're being evicted. Like, legally evicted. The landlord filed papers and everything. Turns out my girlfriend told all of them that I was covering rent, for now, and they could stay rent-free for a few months. She'd been collecting money from them, about $400 each, and spending it instead of paying the actual $2,100 rent. She thought I'd cave and pay one last month, which would have bought her time. When I didn't, she had nothing. The landlord posted a pay or quit notice on the door after rent was late for the 2nd month in a row. My girlfriend apparently told her friends it was a mistake, and she'd handle it. She didn't handle it, she just hoped it would go away. Ashley was pissed. She told us you guys broke up because you were controlling about money. She made it sound like you were the asshole. Yeah, well, we all quit our sublets to move in with her. Now we're all screwed because the eviction's going on all our records too. Morgan's freaking out because she works in property management and this could cost her her job. I didn't really know what to say to that. I felt bad for them, sort of, but also they moved into someone else's apartment without checking if rent was actually covered. That's on them. My ex tried to contact me through mutual friends. Asked if I'd be willing to help her sort this out with the landlord. I said no. One friend told me I was being cold and that people make mistakes. I asked him if he wanted to pay her rent then. He stopped texting me. Last I heard, all 4 of them got evicted. My ex moved back in with her parents 2 hours away. Ashley's living with her boyfriend now and apparently won't speak to my ex. Morgan had to explain the eviction to her boss and got put on a performance plan. Dev moved to a different state. My ex sent me one final email last week asking if I felt good about myself for ruining 4 people's lives over pride. She said I could have been the bigger person and helped her out one time, and instead I chose to be vindictive. I deleted it without responding. But honestly, part of me wonders if I should have just paid that 1 month. Not for her, but for the other people who got caught up in it. They didn't know she was lying to them. And now they all have evictions on their records because I refused to give her 1 more month. Am I a butthole? So my ex somehow got my new address and showed up at Marcus's place last night. I was on the couch watching TV when I heard banging on the door. Not knocking, full-on pounding with both fists. Marcus looked at me like, what the hell, and I already knew. She was screaming through the door. I know you're in there. Open up, we need to talk. Marcus went to answer but I stopped him. Told him not to engage. She kept pounding for maybe 10 minutes before his neighbor threatened to call the cops and she finally left. This morning I woke up to 63 text messages. She'd gotten my number from somewhere, maybe one of those mutual friends who thinks I'm being too harsh. The messages started apologetic around 2 a.m. and devolved into full rage by 5 a.m. The gist was that her parents are making her life hell. They're charging her $800 a month to live in their basement and she has to follow their rules like she's 16 again. No guests after 10 p.m. Has to tell them where she's going. Her mom apparently lectured her for 3 hours about financial responsibility and how she embarrassed the family. She kept saying this was all my fault. That if I'd just helped her that one time, none of this would have happened. She had a job lined up, she claims. She just needed 1 more month to get everything sorted. I didn't respond to any of it. Then around lunch I got a LinkedIn message from Morgan, the one who worked in property management. She wanted me to know she got fired yesterday. Her boss said the eviction showed poor judgment and decision-making skills, and they couldn't have someone managing properties who couldn't manage their own housing situation. She'd worked there for 4 years. She wasn't asking for anything. She just said, I hope you know what your pride cost me, and that was it. That one actually got to me. I told Marcus about it and he said Morgan's an adult who made her own choices, but I don't know. She didn't know my ex was lying about rent. None of them did. Then tonight I got an email from Ashley's boyfriend. Never met this guy in my life. He went off about how Ashley's credit is destroyed, how she's having panic attacks about money, how she trusted my ex because they'd been friends since college and I pulled the rug out from under all of them. He said I should have communicated my intentions clearly instead of just disappearing. That I acted like a child and real adults talk through financial problems instead of abandoning people. I wrote back asking if he'd be willing to cover someone else's rent after they told him he had no say in his own living situation. He called me a smartass and said I was dodging accountability. My ex sent another wave of texts after that. Someone must have told her about the email. She said I turned everyone against her, that her friends won't talk to her anymore, that even her own parents look at her differently now. She's applying to jobs but everyone who Googles her name finds posts about the eviction drama because apparently Ashley blasted her on Facebook. She said, you could fix this if you wanted to, and I genuinely don't know what she thinks I can fix at this point. The eviction already happened. Morgan already got fired. Her friendships are already destroyed. But here's the part that's messing with me. My mom called today. We talk maybe once a month, not super close but cordial. Someone from her church knows my ex's mom and the whole story made its way back to her. She asked me point blank if I really left my girlfriend high and dry with rent she couldn't afford. I explained the whole situation. How I'd been paying everything for 7 months. How she lied about losing her job. How she moved 3 people in without asking and then told me I had no say because my name wasn't on the lease. My mom got quiet for a long time. Then she said, I understand why you're hurt, but leaving her to fail like that seems cruel. You knew she'd get evicted. You could have prevented that. I said she made her choices and I made mine. My mom said, sometimes being right isn't the same as being kind, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about that. Marcus thinks everyone's being ridiculous. He said my ex built a house of cards and got mad when I wouldn't be the foundation anymore. That Ashley and Morgan and Deb should be angry at her, not me. That my mom doesn't have the full context. But I keep seeing Morgan's LinkedIn message. 4 years at that job, gone. And yeah, my ex lied to her, but I'm the one who refused to pay. I knew what would happen. I knew they'd all get evicted. I just didn't care enough to stop it. My ex's latest message said her parents are threatening to kick her out if she doesn't get a job within 60 days. She's applying everywhere, but the eviction keeps coming up in background checks. She asked if I'd be willing to write her a reference letter or at least tell potential landlords that she's not a risk. I haven't responded. Part of me thinks she deserves every bit of this. She lied, she manipulated, she took advantage. Natural consequences. But another part of me keeps thinking about Morgan's panic attacks and Ashley's destroyed credit and my mom's voice saying, being right isn't the same as being kind. I don't know anymore. Was I supposed to just eat the cost to protect people who weren't even part of the original problem? Or is Marcus right that they're adults who should have done their due diligence? My ex filed a small claims suit against me for financial damages and emotional distress. I got served papers at work 3 days ago. My coworker brought them to my desk looking confused, and I just sat there staring at the envelope like it might explode. She's suing me for $8,400, which is apparently 4 months of rent plus compensation for reputational harm. The claim says I abandoned my financial obligations with malicious intent, and that my retaliatory actions directly caused her eviction and subsequent unemployment struggles. It also says I made false statements to mutual acquaintances that damaged her reputation, which is complete bullshit because I haven't talked about her to anyone except Marcus. Marcus thinks it'll get thrown out immediately. He said you can't sue someone for stopping paying your bills. But I still have to show up to court next month, and I'm genuinely stressed about it. What's worse is she's apparently telling people I'm the one who got her friends evicted on purpose. Ashley posted something on Facebook about fake people who smile in your face then destroy your life behind your back, and 3 mutual friends liked it. When I checked the comments, someone asked if it was about me, and Ashley just replied with a shrugging emoji. My mom called again yesterday. She saw the Facebook post because apparently she's friends with Ashley's aunt or some random connection like that. She asked if I was really getting sued, and I said yes. She didn't say, "I told you so," but I could hear it in her voice. Just this disappointed silence that made me feel like I was 12 and got caught stealing candy. "This has gotten out of hand," she finally said. "Maybe you should consider settling with her. Just pay something so this all goes away." I told her I'm not paying a dime. She made her choices and I made mine. My mom sighed. "You sound exactly like your father. Stubborn to a fault even when it costs you." That pissed me off more than it should have. I told her I had to go and hung up. Then yesterday I got a call from Dev, the one who moved out of state after the eviction. I almost didn't answer because I figured it'd be more blame, but curiosity got the better of me. He didn't sound angry, just tired. "Look man, I just wanted to give you a heads up. Your ex is planning something and I thought you should know. Apparently she's been messaging all of them, trying to get them to testify in small claims court that I promised to cover rent and then backed out unexpectedly. She told them if they help her win the case, she'll split the money with them to cover their eviction costs." Dev said Ashley's considering it because she's desperate. Morgan told my ex to leave her alone. Dev himself said no because, even if you're an asshole, perjury isn't worth $2,000. I asked him why he was warning me and he said, "Because I don't like being used twice." He also told me my ex lost her job at the coffee shop she'd just started. Apparently she got caught taking money from the register to cover her phone bill. Just $20, but they fired her on the spot. Her parents found out and now they're actually kicking her out. She has until the end of the month. She's spiraling, Dev said. Like really spiraling. And she's convinced that if she can get money from you, everything will reset somehow. After we hung up I just sat in my car for 20 minutes. Part of me felt vindicated, like see, this is who she really is. But another part felt sick. She's stealing from registers now, living out of her car in 3 weeks unless she finds something. All her friends hate her. And yeah, she did this to herself. But I keep playing the what if game. What if I'd just paid that 1 month? She'd probably still be terrible with money and entitled as hell, but maybe Morgan would still have her job. Maybe Ashley wouldn't be having panic attacks. Marcus came home last night and found me staring at the lawsuit papers. He asked if I was okay and I said I didn't know. "You didn't do anything wrong," he said. "You know that, right?" I said I know, but knowing and feeling are different things. This morning I woke up to an email from my ex's dad. Never met the man in my life. He wrote this long thing about how his daughter made mistakes but she's still his child, and watching her destroy her life is killing him. He said he knows I don't owe her anything legally, but he's asking me as one human being to another to please consider helping her get back on her feet. He offered to pay me back himself over time if I just give her enough to cover a deposit on a new place. He said she's talking about dark things and he's genuinely worried about her safety. That one really got to me. I keep rereading it. Marcus says it's emotional manipulation. That her dad doesn't know the full story and she's probably feeding him lies. That I can't save someone who won't save themselves. But what if he's right? What if she actually hurts herself and I could have prevented it by just swallowing my pride and writing a check? I showed the email to one of my other friends and she said, "Not your circus, not your monkeys." That my ex made adult decisions and gets adult consequences. That I'm not responsible for managing someone else's mental health, especially someone who treated me like garbage. Logically, I know that's true. But I can't shake the image of her dad writing that email, probably late at night, desperate to help his kid. The court date is in 3 weeks. My ex sent me one more message through a mutual friend asking if I'd be willing to talk before then. Just the two of us. To work something out. I haven't responded yet. Everyone keeps telling me what I should do, but nobody's living with the actual weight of it. Marcus says stand firm. My mom says be kind. Dev says protect myself. Her dad says be merciful. And I'm just sitting here with lawsuit papers and a growing sense that no matter what I choose, I'm going to feel like shit about it. I met with my ex yesterday against literally everyone's advice. She texted through a different number saying she just wanted to talk face to face before court. No lawyers, no drama, just two people who used to care about each other trying to figure this out. I knew it was probably a terrible idea, but something about her dad's email had been eating at me for days. We met at a coffee shop near her parents' house. She looked rough, hair pulled back, no makeup, wearing this oversized sweatshirt that looked like it hadn't been washed in a week. She'd lost weight. Not in a good way. She started crying the second I sat down. "Thank you for coming. I didn't think you would." I told her I had 20 minutes. She launched into this whole thing about how sorry she was, how she'd been selfish and stupid, how losing me made her realize what really mattered. Standard breakup apology script. I just sat there waiting for her to get to the point. "I need you to drop the court thing," she finally said. "Or let me drop it. I mean, this was a mistake." I was angry and desperate and I wasn't thinking. I asked her what changed. My dad talked to a lawyer. They said I'm going to lose and then I'll owe you legal fees on top of everything else. I can't afford that. I can barely afford gas right now. So it wasn't actually remorse. Just realizing she'd made another bad bet. She reached across the table like she was going to grab my hand but stopped halfway. "I know I messed up. I know I don't deserve your help. But I'm asking anyway because I don't have anyone else." I asked her about Ashley agreeing to testify. Her face changed. Got hard. "Ashley's a coward. She said she would and then backed out yesterday. Said her boyfriend talked her out of it. So you were actually going to commit perjury." I was going to do whatever it took to survive. We sat there in silence for a minute. The barista was wiping down tables and very obviously trying to listen. "What do you want from me?" I asked. "I want you to help me. Just one time. A loan, not a gift. I'll pay you back, I swear." I laughed. Couldn't help it. She looked genuinely hurt. "You're serious right now? After everything, you're asking me for money?" "I'm asking you to be a decent person. To remember that we had something real once." That pissed me off. I told her what we had was real until she decided I was just a wallet with no say in my own life. That she lied to me for months, quit her job without telling me, moved strangers into our apartment, and then told me I didn't matter because my name wasn't on a lease. She started crying harder. I was scared, okay? I was scared of being poor and struggling, and I thought if I could just hold on a little longer everything would work out. "I made bad choices, but I didn't do it to hurt you. You just didn't care if it hurt me." She didn't argue with that. I asked her what happens if I say no right now. She wiped her face with her sleeve and said her parents are kicking her out Friday. She's been applying everywhere, but the eviction shows up immediately and nobody will rent to her. She's got about $300 to her name. Her car needs an oil change she can't afford. She's probably going to end up sleeping in that car. And you think that's my responsibility? I think you could help and you're choosing not to. That says something about you. I stood up, told her I was done. She grabbed my arm. "Wait, please. I'm not above begging. I will literally beg you right now." People were staring. I pulled my arm away and told her to have some dignity. Dignity doesn't keep you off the street. I left her sitting there. Got in my car and my hands were shaking so bad I had to sit for 5 minutes before I could drive. Marcus was right. It was emotional manipulation. The crying, the guilt trip. All of it. But driving home I kept seeing her face, how desperate and broken she looked. When I got back, Marcus took one look at me and said, "You didn't give her money, right?" I said no. He looked relieved, but I don't think he fully believed me. My phone's been going off all day. Her dad called twice. I didn't answer. He left voicemails saying we need to talk, that his daughter told him about our conversation and he's begging me to reconsider. I don't know what she told him I said, but I'm guessing it wasn't the truth. Court's in 2 weeks. Her lawyer apparently told her to withdraw the suit, but she hasn't yet. I think she's still holding out hope I'll crack. And the messed up part? Some tiny part of me wants to. Not because she deserves it. Not because I owe her anything. But because I'm tired. Tired of the guilt and the emails and the phone calls and feeling like the villain in everyone else's story. But every time I think about actually doing it, I remember her face when she said, "You don't pay rent so you don't get a say," and something in me just hardens back up. Court was yesterday. My ex didn't show up. I sat there in the courtroom for 40 minutes with the paperwork Marcus helped me put together, waiting. Her lawyer was there looking annoyed and kept checking his phone. The judge finally called the case and her lawyer asked for a continuance, said his client had a family emergency. The judge asked if he had documentation of this emergency. He didn't. She dismissed the case with prejudice, meaning my ex can't refile. Her lawyer packed up his briefcase and left without looking at me. I should have felt relieved, vindicated, even. Instead I just felt empty. Marcus picked me up after and we got lunch. He kept saying, "It's over, man, you won," but it didn't feel like winning. It felt like watching someone drown while people argued about whether you should have thrown them a rope. When I got home there was a voicemail from her dad. His voice was shaking. He said my ex is in the hospital. Apparently she tried to hurt herself 2 nights ago. Her mom found her in the basement. She's stable now, but they're keeping her on a psychiatric hold. He wasn't calling to blame me. He just thought I should know. Then he said, "I hope you can live with your choices," and hung up. I played that message 3 times trying to figure out how I felt about it. Marcus says it's not my fault. That she made choices that led to consequences and her mental health isn't my responsibility. That plenty of people lose apartments and jobs without ending up in hospitals, so clearly there were deeper issues I couldn't have fixed anyway. Logically I know he's right. But logic doesn't stop the feeling in my chest that won't go away. I found out through Facebook that Morgan got a new job. Some startup, lower pay than before, but at least she's working. She posted about new beginnings and learning from rock bottom. The comments were supportive. Nobody mentioned the eviction. Ashley blocked me on everything, so I don't know how she's doing. Probably better without my ex in her life. Dev sent me a message yesterday saying he heard about court. He said, "Sometimes the trash takes itself out," and I didn't respond because I don't know if he meant my ex or me. My mom called this morning. Someone told her about the hospital. She asked if I was okay and I said I was fine. "Are you though?" I didn't answer. She said she wasn't going to lecture me, that I'm an adult and made my decisions. But then she said, "Your father spent his whole life being right instead of being happy. He died alone in that house because he couldn't bend even when he should have. I just don't want that for you." I told her this was different. Dad was stubborn about stupid things. This was about self-respect. "Maybe," she said, "or maybe it was about punishing someone who hurt you. Only you know which one it really was." We hung up and I've been sitting here thinking about that for hours. The apartment my ex lost got rented out last week. I drove past it yesterday, don't know why. There were different curtains in the windows. Someone's bike locked to the railing. Life just moved on like none of it happened. Marcus asked me tonight if I regretted any of it. I told him I don't know. "Do you wish you'd helped her? Just that 1 month?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. If I'd paid that month, she'd probably still be entitled. Still be lying. Still be using people. Morgan might still have her old job, but my ex would still be the same person who told me I didn't matter. And I'd still be the guy who accepted that. But she also wouldn't be in a hospital right now. "No," I finally said. "I don't regret it." Marcus nodded like that settled something, but it didn't settle anything for me. I keep thinking about what her dad said. Whether I can live with my choices. The answer is I don't know yet. Maybe in a year this'll all feel justified. Maybe I'll feel like I did the right thing standing up for myself. Or maybe I'll still be sitting here wondering if there was a version of this where I had self-respect and nobody ended up in a hospital. People keep telling me I didn't do anything wrong. That she made her bed and had to lie in it. That I'm not responsible for someone else's mental health crisis. And they're probably right. But right and wrong aren't the only things that matter. There's also the version of yourself you have to look at in the mirror every day. I don't talk to my ex anymore. Don't plan to. That part of my life is done. Her friends have moved on. The lawsuit's dismissed. The apartment's re-rented. Everything's resolved on paper. I just wish resolved felt more like closure and less like something I'll be processing for the next 5 years. Marcus thinks I'm being too hard on myself. That in 6 months I'll barely think about this. That my ex made choices that led to consequences and I just refuse to be collateral damage. Maybe he's right, but every time I close my eyes I see her in that coffee shop saying, "Dignity doesn't keep you off the street," and I wonder if I proved something important or just won an argument nobody needed to win.